Let's face it, in today's workplace, presenting data is nearly unavoidable. Regardless of your position, whether you're in sales, leadership, marketing, accounting and finance, logistics, at some point, you're going to have to present data. And to be frank, most of the time, that data is boring to the audience. It's up to you as a presenter to make it interesting. When you have to present data, there's really four big things to think about. First, you want to identify your key point. From there, determine your perspective on the data and the key point. The third component is find a way to present that data that is both meaningful and easy to digest for the audience. And the final part is develop a story that will help bring that data to life. If I think about Communispond, we recently moved to a new system for processing open enrollment registrations for our communication skills training programs. As I was looking at our old process, I identified that it was very manual, cumbersome, time-consuming, and created a number of opportunities for errors to happen. My perspective after reviewing all the data and thinking about that key point was we need to invest in some sort of system that is much more automated, quicker, and going to provide a smooth experience for our customers. Now, once I did that, I needed to find a way to present the data that I had identified based on what our process was. So I needed to think about what's the right type of visual for this. A pie chart wouldn't work for this. A bar graph really wouldn't make sense. For this one, I looked at a flow chart. Really, who's doing what when? Who are all the different people from the business that are involved in processing a registration? When are they involved? How often? How much time is being taken? How many different touch points are there for the customer? As doing that, I want to make sure that I didn't distort any of the data. For example, if somebody is involved in one process and somebody is involved in two processes. On a bar graph, that could look like they're doing double work. Wow, that's a lot. But quite honestly, that might be two simple steps. So you want to think about the visual that you're using, make sure it doesn't really distort the data. The third part is you want to keep it relatively simple and self-explanatory. Understanding that a lot of times after your presentation, the slides will get circulated around to people who weren't there, that didn't have the opportunity to hear your clarifications or ask questions. You want to make sure that they'll be able to understand it on their own. And then when you're thinking about how to make it meaningful for your audience, be creative with it. There are so many neat tools and features out there that can make your visuals and your charts and your data much more compelling, rather than maybe just having a circle with somebody's name on it. You have their headshot up there. Or every time a transaction happens, there's a dollar sign. Or every time we move through a different person or a different step, the dollar sign is getting bigger because it's costing the company more money to process this registration. So be creative with your visuals. Then as you're doing this, you want to make sure you incorporate some sort of story. For this, I was thinking about the last time I cooked a big holiday meal. We have a relatively small kitchen, but we had 25 people over. And as we were getting close to mealtime, there was so much stuff going on. Turkey's coming out, sides are going in, potatoes are getting mashed, things are getting heated up in the microwave. And it was at that point, everybody seemed like they wanted to be involved and try and help out and get their hands in. What was happening? I'm bumping into people, I'm burning my hand on the stove, I'm forgetting to put things in when they're supposed to go in. There was that old adage of too many cooks in a kitchen. So what I had to do was politely ask everyone to step out and then bring in just a couple of people that I knew would be able to help out effectively and make sure that everything came out tasty and on time. So as you're going through and incorporating stories, keep these things in mind. You have to have your main point, develop your perspective, make it meaningful and digestible for your audience, and incorporate a story.